Right. Oh. Just give it a second, it'll stop. Still got the flashing light. It's alright, just let it finish. I'll finish in due time. Hi guys, welcome to the first direct of 2020. I said I wasn't going to do another direct to either if it was on a video or just to people in person who asked. But however, I'm doing one now, so guess something must have changed. I've actually got stuff to talk about, which, given the circumstances, is actually quite surprising. Did you just see me? Yeah, I've got all the notes on my MacBook again because aesthetic. Basically, we're going to be going through two types of topics. We're going to go through the regular topics, and then we're going to be also talking about projects. Well, I mean projects, I mean my film projects and stuff that I'm planning rather than stuff that just happens because, oh shit, I need to record that. You with me? Okay. Right, so the first thing, you would have noticed that I've been all 6 of you who regularly watch, I've been regularly uploading tech videos, and I've labelled them in the playlist, not by name, the Vapid Square Tech Table series. Why is it called that? Because I use a different table really to do all the stuff on, and there's a little label saying the VS Tech Table. Hence the name. The reason I do them is because I've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline when it comes to just buying cool little things. I say cool, mate. I bought the Snapchat goggles, spectacles. They look like fucking jam jar. Anyway, so like I've got projects. It's a hobby. At the end of the day, it's not something I think to myself and say, I'm going to solely focus on this. Because really, I can't be sustainable with that type of content. I know how to do stuff like that. I am sort of knowledgeable in that forefront. However, stuff like upgrading the SSD on my iMac is a one-time video. I can't make a series. However, there is an idea in my head about reviewing tech, which I have done before, and I've seen success and I've seen failure and I've seen gradual success from it. So if I did want to make views out of them, then I could just do that. Don't want to do it just because I know it'll make views. Because trust me, that's just not me being up my arse. It's been proven time and time again, whenever I make a tech video in terms of like a review, or is it still usable in X year, it bangs. So we'll see when it comes to the tech videos, but I make them not because, basically don't worry, that's not going to be my main content. It's a little pond that you can all swim in if you're into that kind of stuff, which I am as well, but I don't see it as something that I could fully just do, because it's something I enjoy off the camera as well as on. So as I just previously mentioned, there's not been a lot of views on even the ASMR video, which was ironic by the way. That doesn't really bother me because I know the content that I'm making isn't showing a lot of effort. However, it makes you think a bit like, oh, what could I do? What could I theoretically do to make my views go up? Now, it's partly because of two things. One, just because of the content that I'm making, and two, because of the circumstances that we're in. Now, I will say that most of my viewership comes from people I know, and that doesn't bother me, because obviously I know that a lot of people who subscribe to me don't watch my content. I don't make a living out of it, so it doesn't affect me. This is something I do in my pastime rather than playing football or being an absolute wanker over the field. Shut up. No, just ignore it. The fact of the matter is, my views are mostly just people I know. And whether that will ever change or not, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to completely boom. This video might become really dated in less than a year. Who knows? But I know once after all this is over, it's not even something I worry about anyway. It's just not at the forefront, so don't think that, oh, is it not a lot of views, Jack's not going to make videos anymore. The reason I'm making this video is because I know people will watch it, and I also want to get a lot of things off of my mind rather than talking to people individually about them. Because also there's a lot of changes that go around in my mind, you can't really say that on an individual basis. Anyway, I'm ranting. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the videos themselves. The videos themselves, there's two types of content that I make. I don't really I don't really say, oh, tech table is different from this, and this. I just say, I've got my regular videos, which is sort of not it could either be a shit post or it could be a tech video under the tech table logo, or a theoretical review. And then you've also got my projects, which is Trav the Chav Chronicles, Doctor Who Adventures, stuff that I put planning into, stuff that is planned. Now, however, most videos that I do plan don't come out the way they were planned. So I think I can remember with Trav the Chav Chronicles, I had this massive arc, I had all these little things within the series, but then it turned into something that would be connected to Doctor Who Adventures, and then gone. It's just gone. It's that far away, it's gone. It's got into its own thing. And sometimes it can be a good thing, sometimes you should just bang it out rather than like thinking. But I like to put them under the bracket that they're planned videos, and they're videos that I put effort and time into, like proper effort and time into. But obviously that can turn into a bit of a problem, which we will go into. So now we're going to talk about the videos that are actually, like the videos that I am planning to do. Not any projects in terms of film. Well, yeah, we are going to talk about them. But the first thing we're going to talk about is finally a music video. I'm finally releasing a music video with a new song that no one's heard before. I completely winged it, not freestyle, but as in like there was no planning for this. I have just made it. Like literally yesterday as the time of recording this. It is called, and the name of it is Chip, as in like chip on the shoulder. So I'm sort of taking the chip off my shoulder, that sort of thing. In fact, you know what, this is a massive disclaimer. So this is why I wanted everyone to watch this video, mainly because of the music video. And this depends on if the video bangs or not. I keep on saying bang. It's because I've been listening to the What's Good podcast. Hey, hit me up. It is not a diss track, it is not directed at anyone in particular. In particular is the key words there. Yes, I will say that I had people in mind when making a couple of the lyrics, but none of it is outright at people. It's very much an inspired song. It's not directed, in fact you can sort of tell in the lyrics that I'm not talking about myself, really. And that's mostly due to the fact I don't want anyone thinking, oh, he's salty, oh, he's arsey, oh, he's this and he's that. Because I'm not. I'm very much, I don't care, give me a sec. Oh, I'm not salty, I'm not arsey. I do have a chip on my shoulder for a lot of reasons, because I feel like the world hasn't been fair to a lot of people. I'm not saying me in particular, but what I am saying is that a lot of stuff annoys me. A lot of stuff gets to me. And this is sort of my final bow, my curtain call when it comes to music. I don't expect, unless anything really happens, that I'm sort of called back into the garage band. I don't think I'm going to be making another music video at least after this one. So this is just sort of, I'm rubbing my hands, I'm just saying how it is, and I'm putting it out onto the world. Don't take it as if it means nothing. It does mean quite a lot of stuff in it, and it is related to me. That the song does have a lot of sort of, yeah, I mean that. So I'm not saying that, oh, I don't mean anything I say, don't. It's just a joke, bro. It's not a joke. It's just a song, and take it as you will. But don't get butthurt if you're like, oh, he's on about me. I'm not. Don't be so self-centered. Right. So now we're going to be unlocking some confidential stuff now. As you know, and from what I've said, there's this thing called the VSCU, Cinematic Universe, and I had massive plans for all of it, and I had a bunch of ideas that weren't bad, I'm going to be honest, but were they feasible? Not really, unless I put like massive amounts of effort to it and I dedicated my whole entire life into making this massive universe that will get 0 views, really. It's just not sort of there for me. There's nothing in it. I wouldn't enjoy it because it's not as if I'm completing a character's arc because I really want to. It's because I made it in such a way that I have to present it like this. I can't say it like this. Because there's a lot of inconsistencies with all my videos, all the films that and all the webisodes I've made of Doctor Adventures and Trav the Chav Chronicles, and I'm trying to think of what else I did. Jack 10. Like Jack 10 has from if you take it as it is, it really has nothing to do with the grander scheme of of Trav the Chav. You literally, you physically, when you look at it, you can't tell that has anything to do with any of my other videos. But as I'm going to say, it did. In my plannings and in my documents, I had plans to grow Jack 10, and as you know, I had plans to make new episodes that were sort of short films. So Jack 10 Resurgence, a sequel to Jack 10. Trav the Chav episode 6 Awakening, that was supposed to be a new episode that would lead into what I'm about to say. And then you'd also have, I'm trying to think, Doctor Adventures Reconnaissance. Now the thing with Reconnaissance is that I made a draft and I started filming it, but then it sort of felt like, well, it just doesn't have Charlie in it. It really would, kind of, but it would, but I couldn't, I don't feel like, even though I have made episode 2 series 1 as an example, even though I have made episodes without Charlie, without a companion and without the sort of dynamic of that shown in Armageddon, I don't think it's fair to make Doctor Adventures in a different way. So what I thought of making was Vapid Square, what I recorded in Vapid Square Exodus, which would be the Avengers Infinity War of this cinematic universe. I thought I would put what I record for Doctor Adventures Reconnaissance and put that into Vapid Square Exodus at the start and then take it from there. Because Doctor Adventures Reconnaissance had a completely different story to when I started properly recording it. There's a draft that I will upload at some point when I make a montage of all the uncut stuff. But then you've also got the fan series that just didn't take off at all. And I just went back to making it Doctor Adventures. So then we also get to the project that I haven't really spoken about, that I've mentioned but not by name. I had a plan, right? Also, there's also this other thing that I was thinking of making called Vapid Square Desolation, which would happen after Vapid Square Exodus. But then, listen, I had this project called David. Now this would happen after Trav the Chav, after Doctor Adventures, after all those were wrapped up. I was making a series called David. And this would star this guy called David. You didn't know much about him. And he met up with Bushnak, so sort of saying, well, they're in the same universe, but you don't need to know a lot about the series before to understand the story. That was sort of the idea I was going for. I was going for, well, there's all of this planned continuity and references. How can you get into it without having to go through the hassle of watching everything else? And a lot of what I've done hasn't been explained. So like, where does Bushnak come from? What is the origins of Trav? what's the point in all of this? What is the actual story of Trav the Chav Chronicles? Now, there was always this idea of, oh, they were running away from this mafia and all that, and the Russian military. Didn't really go up to much. Like, what happened to Fran's character? We don't know. Nobody knows. So then it changed into, Doctor Who and that combining, and then Vapid Square Exodus being the movie, the Vapid Square the movie. You know how long I've planned this. But that's the problem. I've planned it for way too long. Too much has gone into it, where what can you actually get out of it? And I'm not sort of packing my bags, packing everything up and saying, look, I cannot do this. What I am saying is, it's become too much a thing in my head, where I think, I've started recording literally everything else. I've finished writing everything except for Vapid Square Exodus. And Vapid Square Exodus is supposed to be the one where they connect, where everything connects. But all of these things, what's going to happen is it's just going to raise more questions and answers. That's just the way I write, and I can't sort of fix that. Like David, by the end of it, when I finished writing it up, it just turned into something it's not, something I didn't want it to be while I was writing it. That's not really something I wanted to do. So I'm announcing right now that all projects, Trav the Chav Chronicles, Jack 10, Vapid Square Exodus, Doctor Adventures The Last Adventure, which I haven't even spoke about, completely forgot about that, but bear with me, and David. All of those are scrapped in terms of, as they are now, they're not being made, they're not in production. I don't think I can make them in the way that I want to. So rather than butcher them, I'm packing up what I've done so far, taking bits out and making something new. Especially, this is what Vapid Square Desolation was supposed to be. Especially with the circumstances and what the world's climate is, I don't feel like I could even really do all of my projects feasibly, like literally. So as of today, all of my planned projects are in the scrap heap. However, as I just said, I'm going to take bits and pieces and I'm going to put it into something new. Now, I haven't decided yet whether it would be a part of the VSCU, and if some characters will make cameos and sort of comebacks, or what series I'm going to sort of rejuvenate. As it stands, just to clear my head and to start fresh, all of my projects and all of my planning is going to be sparse, it's going to be evaporated. I'm going to salvage what I can to make something really good and really special, something I can be proud of. Whether that be a series or a short film or a full-on feature film, I don't know. However, I will do it properly and I'll do it the best I can to the best of my abilities. And if need be, I'll get a new camera, I'll buy Final Cut Pro properly because I only had the trial and that's what I've been editing on. I'll buy Final Cut Pro and I will make something in my own time. Because there's a reason why only Armageddon and Trav the Chav Chronicles flied. Because Trav the Chav Chronicles started off from a bunch of videos parodying people at my school. I already had the characters, so all I had to do was make a nonsensical meme. Like, I'm gonna be honest, the intro bangs, but then it sort of fell off. Now I'm not saying that if I made a Trav the Chav video, it would bang. But what I'm saying is I feel like if I tried to make one if I tried to do what I want to do now, it'd be a stinker because I'm trying to put too much into something that isn't. I'm a guy with 105 subscribers trying to make a full-on cinematic universe without any sort of plot point except for the fact that Daleks are in every single Doctor Who episode. The Master is supposed to appear and be pulling all the strings. It's too complicated because the Master was supposed to be with the Daleks. Charlie's supposed to turn into the Master, and that's why the Something Is Coming video had the guy in the butt. That was Charlie, that was the Master. That was supposed to be the Master. So what I've done now is that I do have the